Hey man, before we go any further, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this message because I guarantee you're going to need it today. And every message moving forward here on the Charm Hour and on the Greatest American Alive podcast, man, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Dr. Umar Johnson, black scammers and why we don't need them. The most important thing that I've talked about on this channel is families. I said that the black community needs to solve its issue with families. I have been talking about that. My message hasn't changed. Now, you may have seen some of my programming change in terms of, I don't know, how I feel about, certain things such as polyamorous relationships, cheating, so forth and so on. You've seen that. But the mainstay has been the thing that's going to save the black community is having families, a conventional marriage between a man and a woman, and having their children and them never breaking up and never leaving each other and raising their children. And preferably that all of the children are from those two parents. Now, we know that there's variables. We know that certain dynamics happen. We understand that. I myself had a 20 plus year marriage that ended. I got into a whole nother relationship that didn't work out, only to realize I should have remained in my marriage. I even realized that as I was teaching and ministering through this channel, because I'm like, hey, I could have done a lot of things better. And us as regular average people, that's what we should do. We should tell our stories. We should have experiences. We should gather information. We can say, hey, I was wrong about that. I'm going to put my pride to the side, and we encourage each other to get better. That's what we should be doing here. That separates me by far from Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Dr. Umar Johnson, who Mrs. Bryant is not even a doctor. Is not a doctor, has no marriage, skipped out on 2 weddings. This is by her own admission on the Cam Newton podcast that recently aired. If you hadn't seen it, please go watch the full episode. I only got through about half of it, and I said I'd return, but I needed to shoot this episode. Dr. Umar Johnson, that I know of, doesn't have any marriage. I don't know if he has baby mothers or whatever, but they are talking about the key ingredient that's going to save our community. And that is my issue with all of the people that we raise up in the black community to tell stories that are supposed to help us out. Now, going back to Miss Bryant, I'm not going to say doctor, because if you go look up her credentials, she's not a PhD. Where's your PhD credentials? I see that you have a master's at, I think, Phoenix University. Nothing wrong with going to for-profit colleges. A lot of us in the military did it too. I mean, we did it. We had to go to school online. They give you a degree. If I'm not mistaken, some of those colleges lost accreditation because guess what? They're not real colleges. Some undergrad at Cal State or something like that. I don't have the fact checks on this. It could be possible, but she is not credentialed as a doctor and refers to herself as a doctor on Cam Newton's podcast. I knew it was going to be downhill from there. He actually kind of gave her a chance to explain herself because he's like, hey, I don't have any background on you. I don't know if there's no Wikipedia page on you. Like, can you tell me a bit about yourself? And then guess what? That's when the circus ensued. Oh, she went on this story about her being from the inner city and how she got to where she got, but nothing about her being a doctor at all. If you really go look at this podcast too, by the way, Cam is actually baiting her in to school her, and she really looks foolish primarily. You guys consume everything in clips. Everything you take is in a clip. That's why when you see the clip of her, oh, you're creating broken families, because that's how many of you women have felt about these powerful men who can do what they want to do, who have the money, which is what y'all go for. And by her own admission, high value is a man who's making money. That's who y'all are attracted to. That's what means everything to you. And you have kids with these men. He doesn't have to marry you. A high value man, by their terms, by women terms, which let me get this straight. When we're talking about society, women have a lot to do with that. Women are very social. Society is, of course, men and women together, But women drive that because guess what drives men? The incentive for us to do things is sex. So women have determined that high value men and men who are simps have determined that high value men have everything to do with money. And that has nothing to do with being a high value man because a real man of value can lose money, get it, lose money, and get it again. A man of value can think for himself, has integrity, knows how to take care of himself and create for others, lose and win again. Money is very temperamental. So when you're looking consistently at that and saying that that's a high value man and he loses that when he loses that, any man that is in love with a woman who he's chasing with his money and he loses her and loses himself to it, he is not a man of value. We have let women put that on us. And I'm not going to say me because I'm a man of value, but men who believe in this. But again, men who can procreate as they will, women have an issue with this. That's why that clip went so viral of her talking about him creating dysfunctional families, which I will get, well, broken families, which can also be dysfunctional. And I will get to that because I've had an opinion of that. Anyways, if you look at this entire interview, this woman is saying absolutely nothing. When we talk about low functioning, high functioning, valuable people, what is she really saying? What is she saying? Are you talking about maturation, maturity? How, hey, at a certain point, I have to learn how to manage my emotions. And if I can't, yes, seek out therapy. You should go seek out therapy. She's a therapist. She seems to be a licensed therapist. I mean, I don't know where to find these credentials. I'm pretty sure they're there. I'm just reading her bio. Says she's got a master's in, I guess, therapy or psychology from Phoenix University. So I'm not doubting, and I don't want to disrespect her and say that she doesn't have some information, but she is not who she says she is. This lady, again, skipped out on 2 weddings. She claims called off 2 weddings, and it's 41 that haven't been married. Now, what do we know about all the information that we've talked about in the dating world, even from the Godfather, Mr. Kevin Samuels? Hey, after 35, you are wishing. And I'm sure she has children. She's never been married at all. My issue is we are accepting information, advice from people like that. We're letting someone come up and get on a platform and talk a lot of fluff about the single most important institution created by God. Nobody's even giving information on getting in marriage and how to stay in marriages. Where are all the married people, even the ones that have been divorced, that have had so much time with marriage to talk about marriage? That has been my entire point. I've said this so many times on this channel. Now, this is a pretty lady with her boobs out, all this cleavage, and this chain, because black people like to be entertained. Y'all don't listen to nothing unless it's entertaining. Even Jesus had to entertain y'all by putting on miracles and walking on water, because y'all only follow rock stars. Black people are a lost group of people. You like entertainment. So much so, even in the comments on TikTok, with my response to that interview, on YouTube with my response to that interview, in the comments in the actual podcast, women are just arguing. Like, oh, she's learning him and, breaking him down, and look at how he's treating her. All those women are the undesirable women who are not wives. These are all the undesirable women that you need to stay from, who have no sense whatsoever. Nothing this lady said made much sense at all. And these are the people that we follow. I began to get drawn in myself because from that one clip, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It does make sense that I said it here. What if I said, if you're already a part of community, if you're not having sex with your wife, you are causing chaos. If you're not having sex with your husband, you are living in chaos. No one talks about abstinence. No one talks about not having sex before marriage. Everyone comes up with these dating terms, and they're coming in with dating information, trying to tell you how to be in something permanent. and they're leading you astray. Again, this is the single most important institution on earth. And this is something that we have to fix and repair in the black community. And look at who we have talking about it. Now, Cam has a very balanced ideal of this because his parents are married. He's a well-balanced guy. You can see that. For whatever reason, he's not married. For whatever reason he hasn't chosen. I'm not saying that he's right, but he did have some understanding of what it is, and he was receptive. He even asked her, who have you seen that was married? She hadn't seen anybody that has been married. Who do you look up to? And she had no real answers. Y'all don't watch nothing. Y'all did not go see that interview. You saw the clip. We're all going to argue the clip. And guess what? Nobody's going to actually get into the meat and potatoes of what this woman was talking about. And she's calling herself a doctor. Black people, you get scammed by the day. You love scam culture. It is no different. Now, one thing I would say about Dr. Umar, and I would give him this, from what I have seen, he is credentialed. He has a PhD in clinical psychology, or I think school psychology. It's there. Whatever he said he has, it's there. Now, I don't think he's licensed to practice in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. He's not. But whatever he has said he is, for the most part, he's that. But he is a guy operating in theory. Where's your family? This school that you got $700,000 for, this school that you were supposed to, more than that you were supposed to build and make happen, where is it at? What's the accreditation? What's the grade levels? What's the team? What teachers are you bringing in? Have we talked about curriculums or whatever? You haven't raised your own family. If you have some baby mamas, nigga, I don't want nobody going to your school if you just got some baby mamas and you don't take care of your children. What are you doing? He's fluffed us on the school. This school been in the process of being built for how long? Ain't he like Frederick Douglass' cousin or some shit like that? Not only that, he was supposed to be celibate, and he ain't that. False, scammer, just talking, just saying stuff. That's where we fail as a people. This happens all of the time. Who is the representation for black people? Who is the representation of real black consciousness and enlightenment for us without being full of shit? Who? Where are they? They're a handful, a few. One person who I really look up to right now and really says a lot of the right things is Yvette Cornell. I love Yvette Cornell. Y'all need to go look her up. Look her up on YouTube. Join her channel. Yvette Cornell says a lot of awesome things. Outside of the black intellectuals who are really credentialed, who have really gone to school, who have really worked in these spaces, political spaces, we don't listen to them. We don't have nothing. We're not listening to them at all. And I'm picking on those two right now, Miss Bryant and Dr. Umar Johnson. I will respect him and at least call him that, because he's been popular and she's becoming popular with her boobs out. You a whole thirst trap trying to talk about marriage? What man wants his wife out with her titties out like that in the tight dress? That's why you not married. You 41 and not married. Look at the presentation on what you have. And all the women and most of the ones that's going to disagree ain't married. Because married women are conducting themselves in a certain manner. If God is not in your marriage, if real prayer is not in your marriage, you need to go look up a lot of ministry from Dr. Miles Monroe, who talks about marriage. You ain't operating right. You are not operating in the right space if you're not talking like that. Marriages are ending in divorce because we do not have the center, which is God, who has created the institution of marriage. We fall off. I've been a victim of that. I have not put God in my marriage. I have not understood what marriage is. Let me address this as well, to say that low value men are in marriages, because we are saying that statistically black women are making more money than men, black men. Let's say that this is true. When you are in marriage, it is combined. You're thinking singularly there. It's combined. It's all one. It's all inclusive. You operate in a space of oneness with that. Poor mentality that we have in modern society about marriage and money. The love of money is the what? It is the root. It is the root. The love of money is the root of all evil. Someone who was quoting scriptures up there. I've said this for a long time and y'all not gonna like it. Black women, it's time you be quiet. Black men, it's time that you step up and start to speak. Blue collar men, average Joes, the Rocks. Y'all remember the show Rock? That's a little old. Some of y'all, that's before y'all time. The trash collector, the postal worker, the Uber driver, the Lyft driver, the people that really run this country, the linemen who puts on the electricity when y'all was crying about that electricity being out and when it's not coming on fast enough. There were men stepping out there to do that. You have to step up, come together, and begin to speak. Them women ain't leaving them 401ks. They not leaving them retirements. They're not leaving that insurance. It is time that you step up. It is time that we speak. We need these women to hush up. What are they saying of value outside of the women who are intellectually sound? Y'all need to go listen. You know what? A woman that needs to be speaking more, who I want to hear, is Yvette Cornell, Candace Owens, Amanda Seals to a degree. And I'm only giving her that because I have a wish that I can bring her and Candace Owens together for a show. I'm going to bring that in fruition. I would ask that all of y'all come together and we stretch forth our hands and pray for that, for the Greatest American Alive network, that we put it together and can get them on that network, because that's what I really want. We need that conversation. Amanda Seals is a very intelligent, smart woman. I don't always agree with her. I do think there are elements of her that I may not like, and I'm not going to use this moment to bash her in any kind of way. But I am saying that there are black women that I appreciate that I think should be speaking. The rest of these iced out chains, breast out, BBL, which I don't think Miss Bryant got a BBL. That look natural. She is fine. All these women, you need to hush your mouth. What are you saying of real substance? She said nothing that entire interview. And if you believe so, you're fool. You're foolish. You've been fooled. Dr. Umar has things that he says of substance, but that Pan-Africanism shit ain't gonna help black people. I'm not buying into it whatsoever. At all. I need for black people to invest in themselves by going after the common people that are around us in our families. Going to people that are around us in our families that have been married, that have lived real life, to tell us about how to make it in this thing we call life in the world. Your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents, they didn't have these conversations, foolish conversations we're having, 50-50 and value of people, because they had to live and get together and raise a family. That is not marriage. That is not relationship reality. And yes, you are creating broken families when you are having kids with someone that isn't your wife. Cam, I love what you was doing. You were articulate. You have money. That's true. 3 baby mamas, 8 kids is nothing that a man should aspire to have. Nothing that a man should aspire to have. But let me be clear. If women have the right to take life or have baby and put a man on child support, men who have money have the right to have as many baby mamas as they want. You can't control his sex no more than he can control yours. That's the world y'all want to live in. That's the world y'all want to live in. That's why I said, guess what? it's better to abstain and wait till you have till you're married. But when I say this, y'all have problems with it. Look at the comments. In the comments, people lose their entire mind. They lose their mind. We have to get back to the average Joe speaking. We have to get back to these people who have this immigration issue we're having with jobs. Our people don't even believe you should have regular jobs. We're so attached to criminality and scam culture when we should be fighting for blue collar jobs and the right to work and have jobs for our people, especially American descendants of slaves. We definitely should have that. I really want our people to really think about where we are. The numbers don't lie. Here's a funny thing. The thing that black women keep quoting is high finance, the amount of money they make. She said Stedman was low value because he didn't make as much money as Oprah. And that's how they think. That's a woman's mentality. You don't, big cup, small cup, big square, small square, childish. The Bible, that same Bible she quoting for said, treat them as the weaker vessel. They think like it too. You're thinking in terms of value, in terms of money like that, and not what a man really brings to you to empower you and to elevate you. How many of these women had their colleges paid for by men? How many of these women were able to access the money because of a man, only to make it and say that they have more value than that man? All those stats. Look at our stats when we talk about birth and wedlock, out of wedlock, very high. What are the real marriage rates of black people? What is it? It's actually gone up between black men and black women. But how many women are actually married, single mothers there are? There's a correlation to where we are in terms of where we make money too, in competition with everyone. We brag about the silliest shit, and what are we really doing as a community? Hey man, it's been the Charm Hour. It's been really quick. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell me y'all thoughts. Let's get into it.